Hi, Joe Cerrone. Welcome to CAD-230 Introduction to SolidWorks, Fall 2020. This is our 5th Zoom meeting. I've made Module 5 available. Module 3 is due at 11:30 p.m. tonight. And as we usually do, I post all the work in the main splash page. I did add a bonus drawing to Module 4. It was developed by Chris Sikora. Chris has the department chair position over at Elgin Community College, and he's extremely good with SolidWorks. He was that's where I went to learn it back years ago in 2012. Last week, here's our recording from last week's meeting. Last week we went through Module 3 with the revolved and mirrored objects. I went through over the weekend and graded most of those. They look terrific. One word about the tests and the quizzes is that they've all been updated, or at least up to Module 4. I'll have 5 ready to go very soon, at least the volume components of those quizzes. We had a couple of missteps in the first volume quiz where the drawing volumes didn't match the parts, and so we fixed those, and so you'll see in the quizzes that there's 2 attempts. If you do see any difficulties or something that's not right, just email me and we'll get through and we'll set it up and fix it. So last week we went through and reviewed those projects. The bottle is bonus. I was surprised how many people are doing the bonus. They're going very well. And so Module 4 looks like this. And it's basically these shell and rib features. If you take a look at this and you draw it from the base, you can start with this tapered extrusion. And then we cut this part. And this is probably the most difficult part, is to get this little cutout positioned properly. And then this was then cut. And I guess I'll pull this back like this. And then after we cut that part, we extruded another cut. And then we drew the geometry for the ribs. And it's a really cool feature where you can just draw these lines and then use the rib feature to create the desired rib shapes. Fillet everything, round everything off, and then we shell it. Take that project, save it as 4A, and go into the Evaluate tab and evaluate the mass properties of that part. 4B was this container. This one I find to be a bit tricky. Haven't gone through and done the grading on these ones yet, but we start off with this basic shape, 6 inches by 6.3. We fillet the edges. Extrude, cut, and fillet. Fillet some more. Extrude the top. Fillet that. And then we mirror the object. Extrude, cut that. Boss extrude. Fillet. And we shell it. And we add a few more fillets. And that's Lab 5B. Those are the only 2 assignments required for that module. I did add a bonus module, which is this wrench. I really like this wrench model. It's kind of fun to model. we also get into adding text and things on it. And so I added Oakton Community College and SolidWorks. This was developed by Chris Sikora over at Elgin. And he's got a lot of really terrific curriculum. I've always been really fortunate in having good instructors teaching in the mechanical design program, as well as some of the other programs. I used to run the Cisco networking area years ago too. And so this is just a really well put together assignment, and the information for that is in the content section of Module 4. And so here's the socket wrench instructions. And then there's a video by Chris on how to do that. I was thinking of recutting and doing the video, but you know, I think it's best to just have you guys exposed to other teachers. There's a lot of teachers. I've been doing this for longer than I care to say sometimes, but a lot of the guys do really well, and then they wind up in these jobs. And so I like to be able to link to their videos so you can see how they teach as well. Up at College Lake County is another instructor that used to work with me, and he does their technical support. So that's the Module 4 exercises. The bonus is not required. Typically, I make the bonuses worth 10% of the drawing assignment. So Module 4 is due, if we take a look at the assignments, Module 4 is due next week at 11:30 p.m. And then 3 is due tonight at 11:30 p.m. All right, back to our main splash page. I've made Module 5 available, and it's been available for a little while, but I put them on the main splash page to kind of pace everybody. So Module 5 is patterns, shells, and mirroring and array features. And so we'll do this linear pattern of this ice cube tray. We can 3D print these and things like that, but I think we have to be careful of what material we use. I would probably use PLA because it's a biodegradable plastic. We can 3D print your socket wrenches too. If you'd like something 3D printed, just tag it in the assignments folder. And some really neat things going on with that. I've actually almost figured out how to use the cloud printing, which would allow students to send their print, or at least to slice it and get it set up for printing and actually send it to a remote printer over the internet. So that's kind of neat, but that's a little bit of ways in the future at this point. Module 5 consists of Lab 5A, Lab 5B, 5C, and 5D. There's also a volume quiz for Module 5, and I'm going to go and update that just to make sure that that's correct. And then there's a multiple choice quiz. Okay, and then lastly, on the schedule, we had the midterm scheduled for next week. And when we set everything up in the beginning, everything flows really well. But as we start to work on things and I get the work turned around, what I decided to do was to push the midterm exam back to the 19th of October. So we will have a midterm exam on October 19th. That's in 3 weeks. I'll have a practice midterm exam on the 12th, so you can get an idea of what that's like and you can practice for it. And then you can take that midterm exam when it's available on the 19th. The other modules I'm kind of leaving set up as they're scheduled. I just wanted to push that one back at this time. Okay, that's our quick recap on CAD-230. I'll open it up for any questions now and stop the recording.